Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It is cold here today in southern Arizona, and yes, believe me you guys, it does get really cold here. I think it's like 50 degrees today, which, yeah, for some of you living in like Minnesota where I used to live, you might not think that that's very cold, but I mean, it does get cold in the desert, okay? But I'm all bundled up and ready to tackle this day. So today is actually the first day of the Lean and Clean challenge that we are all doing together in the Facebook group. If you have not joined the challenge yet, you still have time. Don't worry about it. You might be a day or a couple days behind, but there are plenty of people that are joining, you know, as the challenge goes on, and that's totally fine because I think I'm gonna actually do this challenge at the beginning of every month and do like a month jumpstart for everybody. If you guys are interested in that, I don't know, let me know below. But today I wanted to talk about exercise because I feel like it's the thing that people dread doing the absolute most when it comes to losing weight. And there's actually a very good reason for that, which I will get to in a minute. But I've been getting a lot of questions like what my exercise routine has been like lately and how it was like while I lost weight and stuff like that. And the truth is, I didn't really exercise a lot. I mean, there were points where I was trying to like cycle up a mountain and do like small goals like that, or I guess they were big goals. And I was exercising pretty hard for a couple months, but I was never very consistent with it. I have never been like a big exerciser. Like I've never just loved exercising, and I feel like a lot of people are that way as well. And I feel like a lot of people think that because they don't exercise a lot that they can't get good results, and that is not true whatsoever. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So during my weight loss journey, my exercise, like I said, was very sporadic. Like I would have weeks where I would be really into like cycling really hardcore, and then I would just be like whatever, and like the last 3 weeks of that month I wouldn't do anything, and I was just never very consistent with it. So I don't think that it played a huge role in my weight loss, because whenever I exercised I just ate pretty much back all those calories. Like it just made me very hungry, and I feel like I kind of undid it all in the kitchen. But I'm not saying that exercise isn't important, because it is. But what people need to realize is that psychologically we're only driven to do a few things. So we're driven to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve as much energy as we possibly can. That is what has made our species evolve into what we have. If we did not have those three aspects, and we seeked pain and avoided pleasure and tried to just run around as much as we possibly could, we probably wouldn't have survived as a species. Because when you think about it, back in time, in our like hunter-gatherer days, you know, we had to expend a lot of energy to get our food. And that's kind of the problem in today's society, is that our food is so abundant and it's everywhere and it's so easy to get it, and we don't really have to do much to get it. Like it's so easy to go to a supermarket and buy a bunch of pre-packaged foods that you can just open up and eat, or even just buying like fruits and vegetables and healthy foods. Like it's very easy to find those things these days. And back in like our hunter-gatherer days, when we were really evolving as a species and as like human beings, we had to walk upwards of like 10 miles per day to find food. So we definitely don't need as much energy as we did back in the day, and we definitely never would have walked that far or expended that much energy in our evolution if we didn't need to. If we just had an abundance of food all the time, we would have just sat around eating until we were satiated. And Doug Lisle talks about this a lot, and I can link a few videos below, but he actually talks about when animals, wild animals, because the only animals and species that are overweight are humans, dogs, and cats, which is ironic that they all live in the same households, right? But when wild animals are in an abundant environment and they're given all the food that they could possibly ever need, and you know, they rest as much as possible, they don't have to expend a lot of energy to get that food, they don't become overweight. And the reason for that is because their food is natural in its whole form. And like if there was a cheetah that just ate a deer and another deer walked by it, it's not just going to kill another deer when it's so full from just eating. It's not like it would have no reason to expend more energy to kill another deer when it's already full. So I just wanted to touch on that really briefly because it does tie into everything. So like, you're not lazy because you don't want to exercise, or because like you know, worked a full day and maybe you sit in a cubicle in an office and you don't want to go home and run for an hour or run for 2 hours or go to the gym or whatever. That does not make you lazy. It just makes you human. So I'm sure that you've all heard the saying that weight loss is about 90% what you eat and about 10% what you expend. So about 10% of the energy that you expend is going to account for your weight loss. And that's very, very true. I found that that's very true in my own weight loss journey and in all of the people that have been following my program. And in the Lean and Clean program, like, we don't push a lot of exercise because exercise is good for a few things. Two things that it's really good for is it helps us boost our confidence. So just the fact that we took the time to do something that is good for ourselves makes us feel better about ourselves and will give us more momentum in our weight loss journey. So just the fact that you recognized that exercise is good for your body, that it helps your metabolism, it helps your lymphatic system, it helps build strong bones and muscles, and that you went out and walked for half an hour or you did some type of exercise, that is good just in the fact that you did it and that you took that time for yourself. It can also be a very meditative process. So I know personally for myself, like living in a tiny house with my husband and not having like a ton of space to myself because we both obviously work online and, you know, we're together all the time. It's just good to have time for yourself. So one of the big things that I tell people a lot, especially people that work at a job where it's kind of flexible and maybe they have a sedentary job where they're sitting, you know, at a desk all day long and typing away, and they have the option to eat their lunch during work. A good thing to do every day is just go for a walk on your lunch break and eat your lunch when you're doing your work if you can, because it's just good when you're in an office full of people to just get out and just go for a walk and take some time to yourself and be alone and just like think of all the good things in your life and everything you're grateful for, and just know that you're doing something good for yourself in that time. So that is really what exercise is good for. It's good for boosting our confidence, for keeping us on track, for just doing something good for ourselves and like knowing that we did it and being like, hey, like I am glad that I took care of myself today and that I took 30 minutes to go for a walk. Obviously exercise is good for us. Like, it builds strong bones, it keeps our joints and everything very healthy, it keeps our bones strong, it keeps our lymphatic system going well, which can help you get rid of like excess water weight and all kinds of things like that. So it is good for us. But the best exercise for weight loss is the exercise that you're gonna stick to. So some people might be like, oh, well, everyone should cycle or everyone should run because it's the best, or everyone should, you know, do like body pump or CrossFit or whatever, yoga, whatever it is. But the best thing is the thing that you can stick to and the thing that you like to do the most. So for me, the thing that I like to do the most is walking my dogs, and then the second thing that I like to do the most is just working on our property. So like basically my exercise regimen for the last 3 or 4 months has been working on this property with Derek, and it is very hard work. We've been putting up a fence the last few days for the dogs. You can't really see it, but just like putting up the posts, cementing in all the posts, shoveling tons of gravel into buckets and moving those buckets and things like that. Like even like cleaning, doing housework, and just like picking up around the yard and just all kinds of things. Like we're always so busy out here, just like it's a never-ending project. We have 40 acres of land, so I don't take like time out of my day except for a small walk that I go with on my with the dogs on after I feed them every day. That's the only like real exercise that I like make myself do, I guess. But I'm not even like doing that for myself, I'm doing it for my dogs. And the only reason that I actually do these things is because I enjoy them and because they add value to my life. Like it adds value to me to build a fence for my dogs so that they don't get eaten by coyotes, or like put in water tanks, or help my husband build a shed, or like things like that, you know? So don't think of exercise as like, well, I have to go to the gym for an hour and I have to do this or I have to do that. The best thing that you can do is just get daily movement. So focus on getting movement every day. That's all you need to do. Just do something that you like to do. If you stretch for 30 minutes, or you do yoga for 30 minutes, or you go for a walk for 30 minutes, or whatever it is, just try and get like 30 minutes of movement per day. And don't focus so much on exercise. Focus on doing something that is going to make you feel better just because you did something for yourself. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Sorry, that was kind of like a long video, but I guess I had a lot to say about it. But I hope you guys are enjoying your first day on the Lean and Clean challenge. I'm gonna be making tons more videos and recipes for you guys, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and make sure that you turn on like the notifications, because I guess YouTube like changed something where even if you're subscribed to somebody, it doesn't show up in your subscription box unless you say like, I want notifications, which then it's like, why are people even subscribing to people? But whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite exercises to do every day, because I would love to hear your experiences, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.